Give yourself grace when you do not want to, when it feels unfair, and when you wish you were further ahead. Hello, my beautiful entrepreneurs. I am Tabitha Bear, and this is A Hot Mess Builds an Empire. I have no idea what it is that I am doing, and yet I am doing it with the energy of someone who is tripped and is making a career out of the fall. So today I want to address grace, even through gritted teeth. Give yourself some grace. Do it. I know you can. Grace is not a weakness. It is not a softness. It is not letting yourself off the hook. Okay? Please keep that in mind through this episode. This is something I've been working on with my business coach for the last year. This is something that I have been trying to work on with myself, especially like if you watch the CEO Brain Reset episode, some grace appears in there. And grace has been knocking at my door, trying to offer me a cup of sugar this week with the car accident, because if you notice throughout my videos this week, there have been pauses. There have just been cuts. And I have a concussion. I had to turn the lights out to film today. So I'm giving myself grace that there's only so much I can do with a concussion. There's only so much I can do with vision blurriness. There's only so much energy that I have before I start to get those headaches, and I have to give myself a break. That is the reality of my situation. It doesn't mean I'm failing. In fact, I'm probably pushing myself way too much. But I'm giving myself grace that it is not perfection, but I'm showing up anyway. I want you to understand that grace is a tool. And it's not to be used all the time, right? Like, let's not take advantage of grace. She's here to remind us the reality of the situation, but don't punish yourself about it, right? Don't punish yourself when you're new at something and you're aiming to be 100% perfect at it. Like, I'm starting this YouTube series. I truly have no idea what it is that I'm doing. I couldn't figure out for the life of me why it was taking 31 hours to upload a video. Got that sorted. I'm learning different things about Premiere Pro and YouTube every single day this week to get myself through. How can I get more reach for the next video? How can I get more comments for the next video? How can I learn more about YouTube for the next video? And I need to know that I'm new and be okay with that. Give yourself some grace. I'm going to be saying that so much throughout this episode. You're going to get sick of that shit. So there you go. Say it with me. Okay. So I'm going to use myself as an example throughout this episode, like hardcore, because Grace and I have been working on our relationship all year. And I think we're getting somewhere. I think we're finally starting to see, I don't want to say eye to eye because that would mean that we're on the same team maybe, but I respect Grace. I see where she's coming from. And I get it. The first thing I want to talk about is selling as a beginner. I'm so bad at selling what it is that I have for sale. I'm so bad at it. I don't talk about it. I do not exercise that muscle. And to be an entrepreneur, to offer things out there in the space, like I have a stand store, there are digital products there. I don't talk about it. How am I going to make sales if I don't talk about it? So I'm giving myself grace that it is awkward to talk about it first. It is awkward for me. I don't know. The receiving end of that message could be like, oh, she's selling something. You scroll on by, whatever. Or, hey, I need this, whatever. But for me, I'm like, oh God, I'm asking them for money. Oh my God, but I work so hard on this thing that I'm calling a product. Like I melt down. And I can't do that, right? I need to put myself out there. I need to say, hey, I have a stand store. Here's this product. I think it would be really useful for you in your storytelling. And where I would input that, I have no clue. I have absolutely no clue. On my Instagram page, it works out because I talk a lot about storytelling on at tabitha.bear. But World Her Story and Entrepreneur, like, less likely because they're very niche, they're very specific accounts. So I have to work it in on one account that I have a stand store. It has the least amount of followers, the least amount of conversion, the least amount of views, all of these things, right? And I'm talking into the ether sometimes. It's not consistent. I don't consistently show up to sell. On Adventures of an Entrepreneur podcast last week, I did commit to talking about my stand store in a serious capacity twice a week. That could be showing up on YouTube, on my reels, on static posts, carousels, whatever that looks like, shorts, whatever that looks like. I may show up in any capacity, but in all seriousness, discuss my stand store and sell myself. I cannot get used to that, and I can't direct people to a stand store they may not know exist if I don't talk about it, right? Like, it just makes sense. But for me, it's so uncomfortable because I'm like, before it was kind of easy when you just did affiliate links on your blog, right? Like, you just put in parentheses, like, oh, this is an affiliate link. Or at the top of the blog post, you'd be like, hey, this post may contain affiliate links. And you wouldn't feel that rejection so much because it was just like words on a page that SEO would find with Google. And if somebody bought something, I would get 10 cents. And if somebody didn't buy something, I wouldn't get 10 cents. And there was nothing like really lucrative about having affiliate links to Amazon unless I had like thousands and thousands of people buying from me, which they didn't. So to transition into the storytelling atmosphere that I'm in now, where I discuss World Her Story on a podcast and Substack, and I discuss being an entrepreneur on Adventures of an Entrepreneur podcast, and now this YouTube series, I have to go like, hey, I have stuff for you to buy. Did you buy it yet? Like, it's I'm working on the pitch, right? I'm working on it. I don't want to say perfecting it because there's nothing to perfect. It's getting comfortable. I have to get comfortable. And in that incredibly awkward process, I have to give myself some grace. For those of you who have been watching every video so far, you know that my first video started off by saying, hey, I was in a car accident and I'm still showing up to this. And this week has been doctor's appointments after doctor's appointments after doctor's appointments, dealing with the dizziness, with the concussion, everything, right? And it has limited my independence. I have no car. I need to be chauffeured. I'm not allowed to drive. And what do I do? Give yourself some grace. I can hear you saying it now, right? It's catchy. Give yourself some grace. I'm going to start doing like maybe a bouncing ball. I don't know if I have the talent to do such a thing just yet, but just imagine on the subtitles, there's a little bouncy ball. Give yourself some grace. Okay. The next step, I think, is the biggest one for entrepreneurs, especially for those of us starting out when we do the comparison game. You know exactly what I'm talking about here. You compare yourself to, hey, we both put out a similar product. We have a similar niche. Why are they getting sales and I'm not? Or what are they doing better than me? Or why are they going viral? And why do they have more followers than I do? And why do they have more attention than I do? This, ooh, I get this so hard. I really do. I understand this completely. So here's what I tell myself to not get into that and not go down that hole, right? Don't go down that rabbit hole, because here's the thing. They are not you. You are not them, and you're not in the same room. And you just have to leave it at that, because maybe they are seeing better sales right now than you are, but there could be something different about what they're offering. There could be something different about the demographic that they've sort of modeled after. There could be something different about their messaging, their style, whatever it is, right? Their background of credentials. And there are so many variables that go into what makes us different from entrepreneur to entrepreneur, that I think to sit there and compare ourselves to each other is just not healthy. Because I also think it starts to dip into that like competitiveness, when really, like, as entrepreneurs, like, we should be a community. And so to do that to your mindset, right? It can fuck with you. So you're not in the same room as any other entrepreneur. You're in the room with yourself. What are you doing that maybe isn't working that you could do differently? Do some inner work, some self-reflection, and be honest. And bouncy ball, give yourself some grace. Yeah. I often use the metaphor that you're walking on a gravel road barefoot as an entrepreneur, especially when starting out. Road's rough. You don't have shoes, man. And grace doesn't make the road smoother. Grace doesn't give you shoes. Grace reminds you not to sprint. Grace is that friend that's like, hey, just hold on. The road will get smooth, but you have to get there. You have to earn smooth, right? You have to figure it out. You have to get through those awkward stages to like build up that skill, to build up that talent. You know, my family draws so well. Like my dad drew very well, although his was more like MIT engineer architecture kind of drawing. My sisters are amazing artists. My mom was so talented. My mom is so talented. And I did not get that gene. I do not see the visualization that they see. They can just sketch something and have it shaded and shadowed and whatever, and it looks fantastic. And I'm like, I'm lucky if I can get a stick figure and you understand what it is that stick figure is doing. But there are things that I'm really good at that they won't be ever, unless they practice really hard and built up that skill set and that talent. And so when it comes to not having that visualization talent naturally, and I got the iPad with Procreate on it and the pen, and I'm taking classes to learn how to draw better, like manga specifically, because I think that's a really cool art form. But I'm really struggling. But I'm doing it, and I'm really holding back how frustrating it gets, because I'm just like, why didn't I get this gene? Why can't I draw like my family? Give yourself some grace. You're new at something. Don't be perfect at it. Now, what I didn't know is that my sisters drew all the time, and I didn't know it. They have notebooks and sketchbooks filled with drawings, filled with crappy drawings. Like I looked at some of them and I was like, you weren't very good. Like, this doesn't even look like a teddy bear. And they're like, it's a teddy bear. It's not a teddy bear. But I didn't know. I didn't know there was this work being put in for years. Like when they were little, like they would ask for sketchbooks for Christmas or something. And I was just too obsessed with computers and tech and whatever. And so to see their journey in a different way made me go, oh, you've been working on that. Like, okay, so maybe they are a little more naturally gifted. I will give them that, right? Like there are certain things that come with ease to them, like their perspective on the world, to quickly jot it down visually. But I didn't see the work. And that is where entrepreneurship comes in, is you got to do the work. I saw Ryan Holiday speak at a travel con It may have been the first travel con actually. Anyway, I saw him speak at TravelCon and his keynote was fantastic. And he just started off with saying, first of all, you got to do the fucking work. Got to do the fucking work, man. That's what he said. And that stuck with me because I was like, I do the work. Sometimes, maybe not all the time, or maybe I think I'm doing the work and assume that it's enough after like 3 months of consistency or something like that. And I didn't give myself grace on a lot of things. So I would get frustrated and I would walk away from them. If things didn't go well on Instagram, I would get frustrated and walk away from Instagram. I think also what I've learned is people want to see the progress too, especially in entrepreneurship. At least I do. I think I was really turned off by business coaches or travel bloggers or photographers who were like, hey, I made $10,000 this month. And they just kind of came out of nowhere with, hey, I made $10,000 this month, learn how to do it. And I was like, who are you? How did you even get here? What did you do? Like you almost are like, did you buy followers? And then you know what I mean? Like what happened where you were like, you were on Instagram 6 years ago, you didn't post anything. And now suddenly you have a new account that has like 10 posts and you have a $10,000 month. What did you do? There's there's an erasure of progress. We archive the progress because we think it doesn't look pretty, and we archive that off of our feed and just leave like the virality. And I think that's where it was really hard for me to give myself some grace because I didn't know that progress was a thing. I didn't know that you had a messy middle. I just figured either you made it or you didn't. And man, fuck me if I don't. Like it's just me. I'm not pretty enough, not skinny enough. Like you list all these things that it could possibly be as to why you didn't achieve something. And I realized that if I started to share my progress, my journey, somebody out there is going to watch this video and say, hey, you know what? I never knew that about podcasting, or I never knew that about Grace, right? Grace, she's a sweet gal, get to know her, I swear. But hey, I never took breaks before, and I really should because I do feel it at the end of the day. Like I'm working a traditional full-time job and also being an entrepreneur. It's tough and I'm tired and I never walk away from my screen. My eyes get tired. I stopped drawing. I stopped playing my piano. Whatever it is, right? Um show the progress. I think people really enjoy that. And I've already received a couple of DMs through my Instagram accounts because of the 5 YouTube videos that I posted, just showing like I have no clue what I'm doing. But here are the things that I've learned, especially this year, about being an entrepreneur, putting myself out there, trying to make it work. And I did kind of go off little tangential there away from the bullet points that I had prepared for this video. But I really want to share like how much Grace has done for me this year. And it's been a work in progress this last year. So starting in August 2024, I think, is when I started working with my business coach. And that is something I've been working on for over a year now, actually, is to remind myself that I don't have to have it all figured out. I don't have to be perfect. But I got to show up. I got to show up for me. I got to show up for you. And just share the story, right? And be a little awkward. Like, hey, I'm pretty awkward on camera because I haven't done this before. So I'm just kind of like, right? Like, I'm a clown. And I just think it's crucial. Thank you so much for watching this really weird video that kind of turned into a rant about like comparing yourself to others and stuff like that. But I think Grace is something that we put on the back burner a lot because this is what we have to get done. This is who I need to be like. This is the niche that I'm in, and I'm not as successful as this other person who we're selling the same stuff. And um, I think there just needs to be an understanding that there is progress involved. There is a messy middle involved. And it's okay to be new. It's okay to not be perfect at something immediately. And remember, give yourself some grace. This is the bouncing ball effect. You get that, right? Yeah, you get that.